She never meant to overhear anything. That's the part she replayed in her mind afterward, when everything unfolded so quickly it almost felt unreal. She had only gone upstairs to return a book, the old man's favorite collection of poetry he often forgot around the house. She liked picking them up for him, not because anyone told her to, but because he always thanked her with a soft smile that warmed the quiet parts of her heart. To her, he wasn't the billionaire like everyone called him, he was just Mr. Hale. Gentle, slow-moving, forgetful, but kind in ways most wealthy people never bothered to be. But, as she reached the long hallway that led to his study, she froze. Not because of fear, but because of a voice she instantly recognized. It was Nathan, the assistant. The man who walked around like he owned the place, always tapping away on his expensive phone, always pretending the world was too small for him. His tone carried through the hallway, sharp, mocking, slicing into the quiet like a knife. "I swear the old man's losing it," Nathan said, laughter dripping from every word. "Can't remember his own meetings, can't sign anything straight, and the way he stares at those old books of his, pathetic." She felt her jaw tighten. Pathetic. He was talking about the same man who once placed a blanket over her shoulders when she fell asleep in the kitchen waiting for her mother. The same man who asked about her school even when no one else cared. The same man who, despite his money and power, never raised his voice, never made anyone feel small. "Nathan wasn't done. I can't wait until he finally retires," he continued. "Or forgets enough that the board pushes him out, then I'll be the one running this place. Me, not that dusty fossil." The girl's fingers tightened around the book. For a moment she wondered if she should walk away. She was just the housekeeper's daughter. She didn't belong to this world of marble floors and glass-walled offices and men in suits who thought age made someone disposable. But that thought lasted only a second, because the next thing she heard made her blood heat. "He's so old he needs pity. Even that girl. What's her name? Little maid's kid? Even she looks at him like he's fragile. It's embarrassing." She didn't even realize she had stepped forward until her shoes echoed on the polished floor. Her heart thudded, fast and furious, but her voice, when it finally came, didn't shake. "Stop talking about him like that." Nathan spun around. So fast his phone nearly slipped from his hand. His eyes widened, not because she was intimidating, but because he hadn't expected her to dare interrupt him. She stood there clutching, the book against her chest like a shield. Not frightened, not apologetic, just determined. "What did you say?" Nathan asked, his voice thick with disbelief. She swallowed once but she didn't back down. "I said stop. You don't get to insult him. Not when he's the one who trusted you. Not when he's the reason you even have this job." Nathan scoffed, recovering quickly. "You think I care what some kid says? Go help your mother scrub floors. Adults are talking." Her stomach twisted at the disrespect, not for herself, but for the man behind the closed study door. She took another step forward. "You're wrong," she said softly. "Mr. Hale isn't fragile. He's stronger than you. Stronger than anyone who hides kindness behind insults." Nathan's face darkened. He stepped toward her in a way meant to intimidate, but she didn't move, she didn't blink. Something bigger than fear was pushing her forward, something that felt like truth. "Listen," he hissed, "if you repeat anything you heard, I'll make sure you and your mother are thrown out. People like you don't get to challenge people like me." For a moment, just a moment, she felt fear curl inside her chest. Not for herself, never for herself, but for her mother, who worked tirelessly, who carried the weight of 2 jobs at once, cleaner and single parent. Losing this job would break everything. But then she remembered the old man, sitting alone in his study, unaware that someone he trusted was tearing him apart in the hallway. She thought of the way he folded the corner of every page in his books gently, as if the paper might bruise. She thought of how he praised her mother's cooking, even on days when she knew it wasn't her best. She thought of how he always remembered her birthday, even when he couldn't remember where he left his glasses. And in that moment fear didn't matter, not compared to what was right. "You can try," she whispered. "But I won't stay silent. He deserves better than this." A door behind Nathan opened, before he could respond. She didn't know whether it was luck or fate, but there stood Mr. Hale himself, looking between them with gentle confusion. His cardigan hung loosely around his shoulders. His hair, once dark and commanding, was now soft and white, but his eyes, those were still the same, kind, searching, full of quiet wisdom. "Is everything all right?" he asked. Nathan straightened instantly, plastering a smile across his face. "Sir, I was just talking to—" "She heard," she said before he could twist the story. "I mean, he was saying things about you, not good things." Nathan's eyes widened, panic flickering. Mr. Hale looked at her first, really looked. She worried he might dismiss her, tell her she misunderstood. But instead he asked gently, "What did he say?" She hesitated, not because she doubted herself, but because she didn't want to hurt him. Still, she owed him the truth. "He said you're losing your mind, that you're pathetic, that he can't wait until you retire so he can take over." She paused. "I'm sorry." The old man didn't flinch at the words. He simply nodded, slow, thoughtful. Then he turned to Nathan. "Is that how you feel?" he asked calmly. Nathan stumbled through excuses. "Sir, she's lying. Kids exaggerate, she must have heard wrong." But Mr. Hale held up a hand. "I've lived long enough to know when someone is telling the truth. And I've spent enough years around you to recognize the tone she's describing." Nathan opened his mouth again, but the billionaire's expression stopped him cold. Not angry, not shocked, just disappointed, deeply, heartfully. "I trusted you," Mr. Hale said, voice quiet but firm. "But trust is fragile, and you've broken yours." Nathan's face drained of color. "Sir, please. You may collect your things," the old man finished softly. The assistant stood frozen, stunned that a nobody like her had managed to unravel him. But this time she didn't feel like a nobody. She felt like someone who had finally dared to defend the person who had always shown her respect. Nathan stormed away, muttering under his breath, but his voice no longer mattered. Not today. When he disappeared down the staircase, the old man turned to her. His shoulders sagged, not from weakness but from relief. "Thank you," he said gently. "Few people stand up for others anymore, especially when there's a cost." She shook her head. "I didn't do anything special." "Oh," he said, smiling in that soft, familiar way, "you did something very special. You protected someone, and that," he added, his eyes softening, "is the bravest thing a person can do." She finally handed him the book she had come to return. He held it carefully, as though accepting more than just pages and ink. "You remind me of your mother," he said thoughtfully. "Strong, honest, steady." She didn't know what to say to that. Her heart felt too full. As they walked back toward the study, side by side, an old billionaire and the housekeeper's daughter, the hallway felt different than before. Lighter, warmer, safer. And she knew, without question, that silence may be comfortable, but courage. Courage is the thing that truly changes a person's world. And that's why sometimes the quietest voice becomes the one everyone remembers.